as I make my way. The fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to waste. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your work sure would help a lot. We should ride together.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side Ho, where they know my name.
We are the nation of domination. Nation of domination.
Oh, yeah. What up? What up? Fantasy Football Hustler back at you, bringing you another episode of Fantasy News Today. Here with the Wednesday crew. Bogard Scott free in the building.
Yeah, I am Wolverine.
Yeah. And here every Wednesday is my man, the Fantasy Tyrant.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Fantasy Nation?
Yeah. If you guys didn't check out last week's episode of The Circle, it's airing every Thursday, 7:20 Eastern, 4:20 Pacific. You know, perfect time to spark up. And we're just going to have some crazy debates. It's our version of Around the Horn, and just a lot more drinking and weed smoking going on, and a lot more cursing going on than ESPN. That's for damn sure. A lot more fun. Ronald in the building. What up, bro? Antonio in the building, and Dion in the building. What up?
Big up.
All right. Where do you guys want to start first? Do you guys want to start on Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Both of these guys, I mean, Tom Brady being very non-committal about, you know, what's going on with his future. I mean, even though he is there another year on contract, it just, you know, it is what it is. He holds all the cards. And Aaron Rodgers, he comes out. I don't know if it was on Twitter. I mean, Bogard, you sent me and I seen it all over. I don't know if it was on Twitter or Instagram, but he pretty much said so many guys are, well, not pretty much, this is his quote. So many guys are up and on the brink. So many guys' contracts are up and on the brink. Lots of decisions to be made. I don't want to be a part of a rebuild if I'm going to keep playing. So why don't we just start on the Aaron Rodgers side of things?
I mean,
go ahead, Bogey.
I mean, like, why would he want to be a part of a rebuild, right? I mean, that's what happens. If you don't win the big one, you know, it's hard to convince everybody to come back or take team-friendly deals or restructure existing contracts like the Buccaneers did last year. You know,
but that was also unheard of. Like, no other team has brought back all 22 starters on offense and defense. That's unheard of.
And that is the power. That's the power of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The power of Tom Brady makes people want to compete, take less money to compete for a chip. Aaron Rodgers has that same draw for players, right? But I think that's why one thing that he also was vocal about was not leaving it looming, letting a decision be made or having a decision made before free agency starts, and definitely before the NFL draft starts, because I mean, for what it's worth, he does have respect for the organization. He's not going to leave them high and dry. He's going to let them know his decision. That way they can move accordingly. Because if he does come back to play, I am on the side that he doesn't come back to play for Green Bay, because it's 38 or 39 million over the cap right now. He's owed about 19 million, even though the salary cap's going up. You know, guys like Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, you got a couple linemen that are up to get paid. Devontae Adams needs to get paid. There's all these key players, and it kind of all depends on if Rodgers is going to stay, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, because if Rodgers don't stay, I think everybody's, you know, I think it's a ghost town for everybody that's able to leave.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to want to take hometown discounts, you know, if it wasn't for Rodgers. And I'm not saying, like, even Aaron Jones, not really saying that's a hometown discount, but that's probably a little bit less
contract. The way that contract was structured it's definitely team friendly because it was front loaded where they can get out. Because I mean,
2 years.
Yeah, because paying a running back is just stupid at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tyrant. Let's let Tyrant get in here
I was just
Aaron
gonna say,
Rodgers.
I don't think that that Rodgers coming back next season will be good for the Packers or Aaron Rodgers. To be honest with you, with your point there, Bogey, with the cap space and all of that, I just feel like it's time to move on. I think that he is going to play next year. I kind of predicted earlier or in the offseason, earlier in the year or last year, I guess, that he would be going to Denver. And I think I was a year early on that. So that's what I see happen. I see him going to a team like the Broncos, getting, I guess, revitalizing his career. I just see a dead end, and I think he sees it too. And I think he saw it beginning of last season as well, that this is kind of a dead end for Green Bay. And yeah, that's why he's saying he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild, because that's pretty much, almost like where they need to go with it, if they're going to be successful moving forward. So I think that he ends up leaving. I don't know what's going to happen with Devontae Adams, and that's going to make things very interesting, especially from a fantasy perspective, what's going to happen with Adams, because he said that wherever, Rodgers goes, he wants to go with them. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I have a feeling no matter where he ends up, it ain't going to be Green Bay.
What's going on, Hess? And I mean, this is super similar. We're not going to transition to Brady just yet, but it's super similar to what was going on with Brady a couple years ago. And the Patriots, even though with a guy like Tom Brady, like maybe they could compete for a Super Bowl, like these guys don't want to have to put the team on their back like every second of every game. And so what does Tom Brady do? Even though the Patriots weren't technically rebuilding without him, they needed a lot of work to be able to compete for a Super Bowl. And even though the Patriots made it as far as they did, that was not a Super Bowl team, even with Tom Brady. Like, it would have been Tom Brady having to get over a massive hump to be able to take out the Bills. I mean, let's say it was the exact same team. Take out the Bills, to take out the Chiefs, after that. Like, there's no way it's happening. And Green Bay's done. Like, why? Rodgers, all the bullshit. Like, if they're not going to actually get him weapons, that's always been his gripe. Devontae Adams, he's more loyal to Rodgers. Tyrant just said it. He wants to go wherever he goes. We've already talked about Denver. We've talked about Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a couple teams out there that are very close, if they get a QB like Rodgers, in place.
I think Denver, I think they might be a quarterback and a couple of receivers away. Maybe
if it's the Rodgers Adams tandem that somehow makes it, and they trade away one of the younger guys.
I don't see him jumping in. I don't see him jumping in with Patrick Mahomes. Plus, let's be honest, that organization is ran poorly. And to me, I think what Aaron Rodgers needs is infrastructure, because the infrastructure already struggled for him in Green Bay. You know what I mean? Like the inner workings of everything.
You don't think and sorry to cut you off, but you don't think the way that Peyton Manning, jumped ship and goes over to the Broncos and the way that all that happened, you don't think
his back. He threw it on his back, got him there, and then he realized, damn, I can't do this. Y'all need to get a defense over here. But he spent the next 2 years putting pieces on defense, and then when he won it, he wasn't even.
It was back to back, right? Back to back years, right? Like they went.
No. So he went, lost it, then missed out, and then came back the following year in 2015, and then got it. The 2015 season is when he missed about 6 games that year to the plantar fasciitis.
So we're just talking in the NFL right now, okay? Not fantasy.
Yeah.
Where do you rank the Broncos D? I want each of you guys to answer that. Just throw a number on there wherever you think they rank.
We're talking about reality?
We're talking about reality.
Yeah, they're a top 5 unit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
I was going to say maybe 6.
Like right on the cusp there, 4 or 5.
Like overall metrics, I'd say they're top 5 or scraping it.
I'd agree. And I mean, if nothing else, on potential and talent and stuff
Yeah.
that they got over there, like for sure with all the analytics and everything mixed in.
And like
That's the recipe for this, though. Like, why did Tom Brady go to the Bucks? It wasn't because their offense was amazing, even though it was. It was because their defense was fucking amazing. And Tom Brady knows that defense in the NFL wins championships.
I mean, and you know, when they played golf together in that celebrity golf joint, it was
That's fucking. I wish I could see more footage from that because you know that they were just bullshitting the whole time and it was awesome combos.
And you know what he was telling them? He was like, "So Tampa Bay, huh?" And he was probably like, "Hell yeah!" You know what I mean? Like, you know, I had to go there. You know what I mean? They had everything, and I said even like this. Yeah, Gronk. Yeah, get out of retirement. Yeah. Nah, leave.
Fuck the WWE, Gronk. Get back over here and win the Super Bowl.
And he's like, "What? Where, Tom?" And he's like, "Listen, just bring the flip flops. We're going to Florida." You know what I mean? And then maybe Aaron Rodgers can make that same phone call if he ends up with the Broncos, because the Broncos actually got some paper. You know what I mean? They actually got some paper here.
And their offense is very nice if you take Teddy B and fucking Drew Lock out of there.
And then, okay, obviously, I know Tyrant called, like he said, he called it last offseason. Also, before the day before the draft, that the Broncos were like brewing up all these rumors that they were trying to get Rodgers before the draft. And then, you know, you also have now Nathaniel Hackins had a second interview with the Broncos. I mean, he's one of the front runners to get that head coaching job. He's the current OC for the Packers. So you have all these correlations that you could tie together, right? But I think Aaron Rodgers ain't trying to jump in bed with another Matt LaFleur type where he got to kind of tell the coach, this is how you got to do it. You know what I mean?
But do you remember when Peyton went over there, wasn't it pretty much understood that he's like, you know, the offensive coordinator? Like,
yeah.
I think they're gonna do the same thing. They would do the same thing in Denver. I think
but it didn't work after. Like, Peyton Manning went and pulled off all the new records, broke Favre's touchdown passing records, he broke, broke all these records with as a Bronco. But they had to can John Fox. They got rid of John Fox and they brought in Gary Kubiak. And Kubiak was like, Manning, I know you're Manning, but we finna run this zone run scheme. You know what I mean?
Well, when they won, he was already a shell of himself. So that's like, it's hard to like put that into play, because if they had the defense, the ball and defense that they won with when he first got there, they would have won that first year. They have that ball and defense right now.
I mean, come on, you don't think that if Rodgers goes there and takes Devontae Adams with them, they're not going to have some say in that offense? I think they will.
I'm not jumping in bed with Patrick Mahomes.
But this is only like a year or two deal. I mean, yeah, that's not the smartest thing. You don't want to be in there.
That might be the best point for him not to go, to be honest.
But also, Aaron Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder like nobody's business. What if he goes there literally just to prove I'm still better than Mahomes? I'm even better than the young dog Herbert.
He does have those cojones.
If he dominates that division and moves on, and makes a Super Bowl run, I mean, that's just a whole different, like, that's a whole different side to his brand that he would be building.
I think Mike Tomlin and him are going to be a great match together.
That would be.
You know what I mean? Because they do have a top 3 defense if their offense wasn't putting them in bad situations, right? That Pittsburgh defense would have way more stats. You know what I mean? They would have way less points allowed. They would because the offense couldn't handle their portion of the deal. Right.
Well, think about it from Aaron Rodgers' side too. I mean, being a Super Bowl winning quarterback in 2 of the most storied franchises in history, I can see that being pretty attractive.
And if TJ Watt was listed as a defensive lineman, they would hands down have the best D line like in the league. Mm-hmm. And really just with him and Cam Hayward, if you start mixing in all the other pieces, their secondary. I mean, if he doesn't go to the Broncos or Pittsburgh and like, I don't know where I'd want to see him go because those seem like the perfect fits right now.
For sure.
I think it's in order. I think it's Pittsburgh, then the Broncos or bust. You know,
Say it again. Say it
Either
again.
or.
Oh, I think it's Pittsburgh, then the Broncos or bust.
Yeah.
I think you go either way. It's 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. Anybody else? Like I heard someone talking about the Colts, and I'm like,
I 100% think that he wouldn't. He's already dealt with Nathaniel Hackins.
He has to be traded, right? Like that's another thing. Like he has to be traded,
and he has to agree to it.
Yeah. So I don't think. I mean, I don't know if the Packers would be dumb enough to trade him interconference, anyways.
No, it's not. But both these teams are out of conference. I mean, because you have other intriguing spots like Carolina or Washington or what I mean, places like that. But they're not finna do it interconference. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe Tom Brady retires. Maybe that could be a segue here. Maybe he retires, and then maybe they work a deal with Tampa. But that's still interconference.
I heard someone postulating that. I'm just like, nah.
If Tom retires, why would Aaron Rodgers want to go to a situation that Tom Brady's retiring from? It's obviously not the best. That's just my thoughts right there, especially with how cool those guys are now.
He saw what Tom Brady did. He wants to go somewhere where it's already built and ready for somebody. Like, if you put Aaron Rodgers in place of Ben Roethlisberger this year, they probably go to the title game. You know what I mean? Because that defense was that.
They made it to the playoffs in spite of Ben Roethlisberger.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
of course, that would be a great.
Mike Tomlin, like he just needs to win Coach of the Year like every single year. Like that offense was so horrible that they should have never sniffed the playoffs, like at all. I know they needed things to happen for it to fall in place, but it fell in place. And that was a good segue to get into this Tom Brady style. Let me just shout out some of the comments we got going on. What up, Stu? What's going on? And Stu's going to be driving the Sean Payton to the Cowboys 2023 for forever. So, guys, just get ready. We've already heard it twice in 2 days from him. He said, in the meantime, 2022 might be rough with McCarthy, dead man walking. So sell me all your Cowboys for 2022. I'm a nice guy, and I'll take the trash like Lamb. I already told you, man. Let's trade Dak for Herbert in that league. I mean, we could just do that straight up if you don't want to.
Listen, man. If I had any Cowboy, I'm pricing it up just because he's Stu. You know what I mean? That's
why not?
Works when you talk to us. You know what I mean?
And I bet Stu is still going to be drafting his Cowboys hella early in this new dynasty draft we got going on.
I mean, they're going to win the Super Bowl, right?
Every year, right?
In 2022, even with Mike McCarthy, Stu said.
He said it's a rough year. You guys had a rough year this year, and it was a winning season.
Yeah. I mean, in 2023, the Cowboys are going to be in full-blown rebuilding mode because Zeke has already fallen off. They're not going to draft right like they always don't.
Jerry Jones got to die.
Well, I don't know, dude. Micah Parsons.
Well, their defense, I mean, but look at what happened.
Offensively, though, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. This team has no identity
Are they
right
gonna
now.
Are they going to lose Dan Quinn? Like,
you know
what I mean? What happened to that defense? Listen, scheme's everything to me. You know what I mean? That's why New England continues to do what they do without having super outlandish superstar names. Because the system is proven. You do your job, you do it well. Good coaching goes far longer to me than just these out of their mind talented players.
Yeah,
people will probably argue that, but I'm
not going to go out on a limb, Ronald, and say he said they just don't draft offense well, but they draft D-line and O-line great. I mean, that's the Cowboys. I mean, and Ronald's an Eagles fan, so we know he's not just jocking the Cowboys. I mean, just because they have as of late, Micah Parsons was already a steal of a deal. Top 10 pick. And then who else? Tyron Smith. I mean, if it was up to Jerry Jones, he wouldn't have even picked him. So he kind of got lucky.
He wanted Baker Mayfield. I mean, Johnny Manziel that year, right?
I believe so.
Right. See, that's why he got a dime, man. Hey, listen. Hey, while all the Cowboys fans are rooting for Sean Payton to be their coach, you're rooting for the wrong thing. You need to root for the man to die. I know it's real morbid, I'm saying that if you're a Cowboy fan, that's the day you celebrate. Because
Or just
that guy needs to be in pro wrestling, not in the football business.
And of course, Stu's going to be in here. What are you talking about, Willis? We draft very well. That's not our issue. Jerry Moore, O-line, and Fat Boy up the middle. Stop the run. And our problems are, only 18 mil against the cap hit. And then Zeke. Yeah.
This is the team that
imagine?
it don't matter. It don't matter how much money they got. They're gonna do stupid things with their money. Look at last year. I understand they felt bad they didn't pay Dak, so they gave him the big money. But then what they do? They also give him the franchise tag, right? Because Jerry takes care of his guys, which is true. But how stupid is that? You just gave this guy all this money, and you still didn't know how good he was going to be coming off that injury.
To your point earlier, Bogey, I just want to say real quick. So you already got Shad Khan's son on an AEW. So could you imagine if Jerry Jones had his own, fucking wrestling affiliation, him going up against the Khans and Vince McMahon? Dude.
I mean, he would go to war with them.
And that's what we want to see. That's impactful, entertaining, television.
Jerry Jones is always thinking big. He would have Mike Tyson out there or something. He would try to find. He'd be like,
Exactly. I'd rather see Jerry Jones in wrestling than Vince McMahon in football again. I'll be honest.
I mean, it's America's team. We put fans in the stands and we sell tickets and we get high ratings. Yeah, where's your Super Bowl titles? Since you know what I mean, like since you had Jimmy Johnson, and then the guy who won it after Johnson was pretty much just the guy who jumped in the driver's seat after they booted Johnson. You know what I mean? The thing was already
that big screen you can kick footballs off of, So there you go.
And Ronald, Sean Lee and Leighton Vander Esch. I mean, those are two amazing players. And the thing is, if they could stay healthy, maybe they would have went a little bit farther than what they did. But the guys they can't stay healthy to save their lives. Sean Lee, I know he had the amazing rookie year. After that, just kept getting hurt. I mean, Vander Esch, he played a bunch of games this year, but that guy's he's crazy playing with a broken neck.
Yeah.
And Sean Lee was he's one of the most talented linebackers to ever come out in a draft, So I mean, they just they end up getting these guys who fall a couple extra spots, and they did the right thing.
Lucky. They get lucky on the defense and not so much on the offense. I think Zeke, was all right, in the first few years, but then he dropped off pretty quick.
Man, I want to shout out my guy Nancy if he's watching out there, because he texted me earlier today when we were talking about the Cowboys cap. He's a big diehard Cowboys fan, and he goes, "Well, we need to pay Randy Gregory," and he goes, "He better take a team-friendly deal for all the stuff we got him out of." And I said, "What? Ain't nobody taking no friendly deals for nobody, especially Uncle Jerry. They expect to get all the money from Uncle Jerry because that's what he does." And then he expresses how frustrated he is later. Shout out to Amari Cooper, $60 million and a $100 million contract, $60 million guaranteed. You know what I mean? That's why Uncle Jerry should not be in the football business anymore. Full old and senile.
Because if you just pay these guys a little bit earlier, you don't have to pay them the farm, but that's the difference. If you wait until 100%, this guy's worth paying, for sure, because we've seen him do it on the field, then they're worth that. You're supposed to know these kind of things by the inner workings of your fucking executives and scouts and all that, and every player development. You should know if these guys are worth it, not based on just what they put out on the field on Sunday.
I mean, just specifically with the Amari Cooper one, that was smart, right? Trade for him. Maybe not give up a first round, but I mean that's what it took to get.
They had to, yeah.
Yeah, because
they paid up too much.
They were doing the right thing. You wanted to see what you have with Dak. How do you do that? You get him weapons. They traded for Cooper. He was still on a rookie contract, and then when he earned his keep, you extended him and gave him the big bag, and now Uncle Jerry himself is the one complaining about it. You know what I mean? Because he didn't produce well. Maybe Kellen Moore is the wrong play caller. Hey, you know what all that sounds like to me? Someone who don't put the right people in position. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I don't think Sean Payton would go there. I don't think he's going to go there and be the guy that pretends Jerry's not running everything. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much what they need, though.
Yeah, I don't know how well he'd roll with it too much. You know, he's too strong a personality, you know, for Jerry Jones to try to, you know, mold and whatever.
Because, yeah, he wasn't like anywhere high up the ranks or anything, you know, when he was there before. He was just one of
You
the
know
guys.
what Uncle Jerry's going to say, right? He's going to say, Sean, come on home. And he's going to be like, that wasn't my home, bro. And he's going to be like, hey, Sean, you know, I'm the one that put in the good word for New Orleans. Like, no, you didn't. You did not want him to leave. You know what I mean? Because you ended up stuck. He ended up stuck with Jason Garrett, right?
Right. Hey.
Jason Clapping Garrett.
For Amari Cooper, I don't know why it has him down that he played that he started 14 games, but he played 15 games. But he had 865 yards. So you divide that by 15 games, that's 58 yards a game. Then you times that by 17, 986. So I mean, he's right there on the brink of 1,000. 68 receptions, 12, almost 13 yards per reception. I mean, it's not the best year, but their play calling was just horrible this year, and we've seen it.
They have the talent.
Inconsistent.
They have 4 talented wide receivers. I mean, we saw what Ced Wilson was doing toward the end of the season, dude. The guy was on fire. You know, he could be big in there. I think Gallup's kind of dropped off a little bit. You know, I think Ced Wilson's kind of taking that number 3 role. Of course, Wilson, you know, you still have Schultz in there. You know,
Schultz is a free agent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right? You're right. Schultz is a free agent.
He's set to be a free agent. Gallup is set to be a free agent coming off the ACL. You know what I mean? Gallup is clearly the number 3. Cedric Wilson, phenomenal role player. He stepped in. And that's also the problem, going back to what Hustler said about play calling or even game planning or even just Kellen Moore in general. Why was Cedric Wilson a focal part of the game plan against the Niners? Why wasn't it CeeDee Lamb? Why aren't you throwing at CeeDee Lamb when he's getting man coverage? You know what I mean? Why aren't you throwing at Cooper when he's getting – oh, actually they did. The one time they man covered Cooper, he scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? But I'm saying the play calling's bad. Their line's only getting older. That's another team too. Like, I don't know if Sean – how does that team look in 2 years?
It looks like shit. I already told you. It looks like shit. They're going to be in full-blown rebuilding mode. And Stu said Jerry's more disappointed with Moore than Cooper. If anything, with Cooper, it's because of the cap and the whole anti-vax thing. The thing is, what has Kellen Moore – it doesn't. What has Kellen Moore done to be an offensive coordinator of a team? Because all he's fucking done is been the backup quarterback for teams in the NFL, a quarterback's coach for Dallas.
The backup quarter for that team.
Yeah, and then somehow he's good enough to be an offensive coordinator. No. So that's Jerry Jones's fault for needing a yes man to fill a role versus going and getting an actual coach who can call plays.
He gotta die, man.
I know Stu doesn't make excuses. He's just giving the facts. But Stu, the fact is that the organization is run very bad, and a lot of it is because of Jerry Jones. We know that.
Agreed.
Things will change when he's not involved as much. I'm sure it'll change really quick.
I think.
Well, look how well the Raiders got a little bit better once Al Davis went, same kind of thing. I mean, I know there was the scary, the Al Davis back from the dead pick, but other than that,
I mean, you have Mark Davis, who probably is the weirdest dude ever. I bet you he's so weird because, imagine a guy who grew up
and look at what Stu said. You know he said Jerry's been pissed for a minute that Cooper won't get vaccinated.
Ruggs, that's who it was. I couldn't think of it. But yeah, the pick of Ruggs, that was Al Davis back from the dead.
Yeah, just get the fastest guy on the board.
Right.
Yeah.
They still didn't switch from that too much though.
But they've done, better with, anyway, yeah.
They have. And Stu, he's backing it up saying that Jerry's been pissed for a minute that Cooper won't get vaccinated. I mean,
okay.
Let's just call it for what it is. Jerry Jones is a plantation owner. We got to be honest about it.
Yeah, he's a slave owner, bro. And these motherfuckers are not slaves. You know what I mean? That This is not the 1800s, 17, whatever the fuck that time was. Listen, Uncle Jerry, he wouldn't care if a dude is Muslim. Hey, I'm a Christian. I like Christ. You like Allah. It's all right. We can break bread. Hashmalam alaykum. If you're a good player, you don't care. But now vaccinated's a thing. You know why? Because it's a part of a political agenda now. You have to be on one side or the other, and he's on that side. And now he's trying to find any excuse to slander Cooper. When the fact of the matter is, he's still producing. You just said the numbers. He's still producing, even though the play calling and the game planning is ass. Cowboy fans will say anything, bro.
I think what's being done to CeeDee Lamb is a tragedy. Essentially, he's been left out, and the dude is so talented. And when he gets the targets, when he is part of the game plan, he produces. I don't get it.
Me neither, because they have all the talent in the world over there. It's probably one of the teams with the highest potential in the league, and yet you always fail with the most potential because they're putting people in place to do this to do the damn thing. I mean, look at all these receivers. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Cowboys had this many receivers, that were really that decent. And I'm just talking about the top three. Going out and getting CeeDee Lamb when they really didn't need to, having an Amari Cooper. They go out and get it just to make the, getting the offense on point, where they thought it needed to be, and it's failed year after year.
Well, look, the Bengals did it. We all questioned them for it. Now they're in the AFC Championship. So it can happen, but you got to have the right play calling. You got to have, the right, just everything together, and just they – unfortunately don't. They have all the talent, just no one that's coaching them.
Yep. And Kellen Moore.
You know what's sad? Here's what's sad for Dak in his career. And this goes for any QB that's went through situations like this. Continuity in your coaching staff is the most important to me for a young QB. So Dak already went through clapping ass Garrett. You know what I mean? Which is probably far worse than it was better, right? Then he goes through McCarthy, who's just a guy. He goes from clapping to a guy who crosses his arms. You know what I mean? And they keep Kellen Moore to have some remnants of continuity for Dak. And then now they're probably going to have a new guy there. Like, I think they're doomed. And they think that they could solve their problems with Sean Payne next year. You know what I mean? And I don't even think – I would bet against that, too. I don't even think that's happening.
I know that the offensive line issues were a thing, and injuries are always a thing for the NFL. So you just can't have excuses. It's a next man up league. So next man up, they just got to go and do their thing.
I hope for Sean Payton's case that he doesn't end up with that job.
No. I mean, I would hope not. It would just be bad. I mean, just like Bogey said, you're keeping Kellen Moore for the continuity and to keep some similarities from the year before, until now. It looked horrible. It looked like they took 10 steps back with the offense. So that's what I want to know is where was it really just the offensive line that screwed everything up? Like, how'd Kellen Moore get so much worse at calling plays from one year to the next? I really don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because he never knew maybe it's a combination of getting lucky too, right?
Maybe.
I mean, or even should we put Kellen Moore in the same category as the Adam Gazes of the world, and now Nathaniel Hackinson, and guys that are with what you said, Brian Leftwich, guys that just the quarterback makes them look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
man, if you were, and really now when you think about it, I mean, the more we talk about this, the Cowboys only scored so much and put up so much offense because their defense was giving up ass. And they had to score that much just to kind of keep things rolling.
I mean, 2019, their defense was less than middle of the pack. And, what, Dak, did he have a 5,000-yard outing that year or damn there?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Let me go see what his stats were that year, but I'm almost positive.
That was the first year that Jason Garrett – first of all, it was Jason Garrett's last year, but also the first year that he extinguished – play calling duties. Am I saying that word right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it gave Kellen Moore a chance. You know what I mean?
So it wasn't 5,000. He was 98 shy. It was 49.02.
I would still give. I just damn near 5,000.
Yeah.
I'd say if you do remember that year, he got a shoulder. He sprained his he had a sprained AC joint the last month of the year, and he really had a shitty game week 17 against the Eagles. He definitely would have won over 5,000 without that injury.
He was more active. He was
making
more
up excuses like a cowboy.
He was man, it just Stu just rubs off on you that way, doesn't he? That's how it goes. So one thing that I did see is his completion percentage. It did go up a little bit, same amount of attempts, but like almost 30 more completions. Let me see. So he did, well, just for the sake of this show, we're going to round it up. So 69% completion rate this year.
Yeah.
69, dudes.
And just for context, it was 68.7. So it was right there.
Close enough.
Rounded up from
just about.
Yeah, 68.7. So not too much.
It could have been 49%. We'd be like, we're going to round it up here.
but for like 400 and a half yards, like 450, like less yards, did have 7 more touchdowns, 1 less interception. The rushing was way different though, like half the rushing on a similar amount of attempts. Half the rushing yards.
I think it's so crazy for Dak, man. I feel bad. I do feel bad for him because that 2019 year is the year that I base everything off of. Like, yo, this guy got it. You know what I mean? And then 2020 comes out like, oh, snap. If this guy didn't get hurt, bruh, you know what I mean? He would have threw for 6,500 yards or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then he comes down, he's duking it with the champs this year, week 1. And then, like, that was it. There was no consistency at all week to week.
No. And you know what? We spent way too much time on the Cowboys, thanks to Stu.
I agree.
But you're the man, Stu. We're getting the fuck off the Cowboys, and we're getting to Tom Brady because we still haven't talked about Tom Brady. And so we were talking about how he's very non-committal with what's going to happen next year because they got a lot of contracts coming up too. They got a lot of defenders, that are on contract. A handful of offensive guys, I'm sure, that are on contract, including one Chris Godwin. What do you think, Tyrant? What do you think happens with Tom Brady next year? And and the Bucs in general.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Brett Favre when he was, the question of him whether he was going to retire or not. And I think he's in that same spot where he's like, you know what, he's going to get that itch. I think he's going to get that itch, and he'll be back.
He's going to grab that cream.
His avocado cream.
Yeah, there you go. But no. I think that he'll get that itch. I think that he'll come back at least for one more season. There's so many. I know not everyone's coming back, but there's enough pieces there to where, I think there's enough there to get the job done. I think he's going to want to come back. I don't think he's going to. I don't think that he's going to drop off as much as say like Ben Roethlisberger did. So I think there's going to be still enough left in the tank for him to get a good season in. So why not?
Here's the thing.
I got a question. I got a question for you, Bogey. Do you think with the couple injuries that they had, because it wasn't a lot, on defense, I mean, they had a lot more injuries than on offense. But do you think with those couple injuries on offense of Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, bouncing, do you think that goes to the frustration that he might have with the team? Because he literally had to throw that team on his back.
See, that's the difference between a team where the coaching staff is Bruce Arians and them, and then the evil emperor himself, Bill Belichick and them. Because Bill Belichick and them, everybody knows part of this thing is check your ego out the door before you even step in here. You know what I mean? And then meanwhile, Bruce Arians is like laid back. Hey, Jack. Hey, listen, he's slapping guys in the helmet. You know what I mean?
Rocking his fedora.
Yeah, it's a different culture where Tom Brady, once you get to playing, he doesn't need to handle any of that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why Antonio Brown got mad that, oh, he's not my friend. Because, Tom Brady would have said anything to keep his crazy ass calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just to get him back, he's like, imagine that. He's probably the one blowing up Tom Brady. Yo, what's up? You talk to Bruce and them? You're going to get me in there? And he's like, listen, just relax. I'm talking to him. And then he gets him in there. And then they win a Super Bowl. And then now he starts thinking, Antonio Brown starts thinking, I can throw my weight around now. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Gronk, who's still from that same Belichick elk, that New England culture, you know what I mean? They know what it takes. They know how to stay in line. You know what I mean? And that's another thing too. What about Gronk? What if he don't come back? I think that's part of the prerequisites for Tom Brady is that he needs Gronk there. You know what I mean? And is Gronk willing to come back for another run? You know what I mean?
I mean, I bet that they're having more fun in these past 2 years, maybe minus the last couple games, but I mean, they're throwing the fucking Lombardi trophy around from boat to boat. Like, you hear Gronk making like all these jokes, behind the scenes where like, yeah, I'm the guy who I'm what, damn it. I don't even want to mess it up. Hold on. I got to go. I got to go find it. The Gronk when he was like, yeah, I'm the guy who gets his balls thrown to him or like something like that. I forget exactly what he said, but it's something about him. It was the tight end joke, like
why would they not want to do another year of that? I mean, that's what I'm saying, why not?
Yeah, what's Gronk gonna do? Like, he wasn't
he's gonna go back to WWE.
Sean Payton retiring, quote unquote, we're just specifically just not coaching the Saints anymore. That might help Brady be like, you know what I mean? Because it's not with Brady. To me, it's not a question of does he have it or not, or is there anything in the tank, or is he gonna, have a fall, a drop off like Big Ben or any of these older guys. None of that is happening. Brady's coming off of a career year in passing. Even if he was to take out the 17th game, he still throws for 5,000. Like, I don't think he walks away based on if he still got it or not, or if he feels he can play or not. I think it's because at this point in his career, he has several prerequisites. This is what I need to play. I need X amount of weapons. I need control and say so on this and that. I need a container full of avocados. I need a top 5 defense. I need pass. Like, he was one of the guys that said, hey, we need to take care of Shaq Barrett. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was one of the guys. That's defense. He's a QB. But you know why? Because he knows that's part of the prereqs. I need y'all to be able to beat up the opposing QB when I get us the lead. You know what I mean? Like, and now in one fell swoop, Chris Godwin goes down. Antonio Brown's gone. Now you got all these players in free agency that might move on. And it also, it's going to boil down to Brady again. I mean, even in Brady's last performance, if that's how we're going to remember him, we're going to remember him as the guy who still almost willed their way back, tied the game up with 42 seconds left. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where if Brady doesn't come back, I think he retires. Right?
What up, JC Money?
What up?
Yeah, because I'm always making posts in the fantasy fantasy group, experts, gurus, and beginners, the fantasy football advice group. And I'm always putting things about Tom Brady just because I made this post 3 days ago. There's still people commenting on it, going back and forth and like arguing with each other. And you could just say anything about Tom Brady and both sides, the spectrum are going to come out. And I was like, man, Brady looked washed in this game and really just to stir some people up. And not that he looked washed, but he needed a team, and he was like the main guy on the team who was like doing stuff, and like it was back to the old shades of the Patriots when like they have like one weapon and that's it, and Tom Brady's got to figure all this out with a bunch of B-listers, and their defense wasn't stepping it up. It was like those same defenses that Tom Brady lost with in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, any given Sunday is something you throw around when a good team takes the L to a team that you thought they were going to beat, right? You say, oh, any given Sunday. on damn near every Sunday, Tom Brady goes out there and wins. And it's because of this formula they got. Like I said, several prerequisites, bro. You gotta have, like, I bet you he's gonna be like, you all gotta sign Godwin back, or double franchise tag him. I think the franchise tag for a receiver this year is 22. If you double that, that's that and a half, right? Or that and a quarter, whatever it is. So I'm pretty sure he'd play coming off an ACL to see what he got and get a guaranteed 28 million. You know what I mean? Which is ridiculous. But these are the things that he could demand when you're NFL royalty. That's why I don't see Rodgers going to the Broncos. He's got to, maybe the Broncos, what they would do is let him demand shit. You know what I mean? Like, hey, bring Adams over here. Maybe they would take a shot at it because they John Elway and them, they want so bad for this team to win that, hey, they already went down this road. They'll let the guy make
he's not gonna have to demand, that hard. If it's Rodgers and Adams going, I don't think that those guys would have to demand too hard to get him to take on Devontae Adams.
And Devontae's an unrestricted free agent. So I think the way it would have to go down is you go, okay, Packers, we want y'all to franchise tag Adams. You know what I mean? That way, because this is like a money thing now, right? Then they could involve him in the trade, and they got Adams, and then they extend him accordingly. Like, maybe at the end of the season, mid-season, whatever it is. But this is what they got to do to work the cap. Trade. That's just what they got to do to work the cap. You know what I mean? Even though it is going up, that just means that, like, there's still, like, okay, Bradley Chubb. I think, what is it? He was 2017 first rounder? Yeah. Because I remember he was drafted the year before Chubb, his cousin, right? So Chubb was 2018. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So you're going to have to pay Bradley Chubb. He's probably gone. You know what I mean? But the fact that the cap goes up, you get to consider this, right? But then also, you
said 2018?
Oh, so he was drafted the same year as his cousin.
Yeah, 2018.
Okay, so then there it is. They can pick up his 5th year. You know what I mean? Because they have a good defense. Hell yeah. But also, would you say Vic Fangio? You know what I mean? Because I am that guy who would say that. You know what I mean? I don't know necessarily if I know I'm going back to the Rodgers thing, but I just still think, man, infrastructure is so important for someone like Rodgers. A team that's already complete. He's trying to do the Brady.
Well, it's both. I'm going to say it's both because, Brady, maybe he retires after, but what if he goes to Pittsburgh?
Hey, hold on. Doesn't Brady have one more year on this existing contract?
Oh, yeah, I guess he does.
Yeah.
I guess he does.
Yeah.
So with they'll have about 45 million.
They're both in the exact same spot.
But Rodgers also, this was the whole big deal in the offseason, is that Rodgers wasn't talking to Goontz, the GM, and then they had a meeting, right? And he said they agreed, so they restructured his deal, and that way, and they made an agreement that they would explore the option if he didn't choose to come back next year for the last year on the contract.
Okay.
Because that would be the smartest thing for Green Bay to do, right? Why would they let him have his last hurrah and then he's done and they don't get nothing out of it? Especially if you don't win next year and you have Rodgers, right? The best thing to do is trade him this offseason. Get whatever you can because he don't want to play for them, right?
Yeah.
It's like either because that's the thing, is like he would retire if not. You know what I mean? That was the understanding. And then it's funny because Darren Rodgers shows up week 1 against the Saints and it looks crazy. And then he comes and it's almost like it was like a point to prove, like, hey, this is how good I am. I could turn it on and off. You know what I mean?
I got a couple pieces of news. We're going to shift just a little bit to the 49ers game. So Kittle, not on the injury report. Deebo Samuel, not on the injury report. And Trent Williams, he didn't practice today, but Shanahan said he believes he's playing.
That's fine.
And so do I.
Yeah, that's fine. And that's pivotal because he's the guy who goes to war with Aaron Donald. Like, it's amazing. You know what I mean?
That's like one of those unstoppable force versus the movable object, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing. Not a lot of people when they talk about a playoff game, especially a conference championship game, are like, "Dude, I want to see those linesmen. That's what I'm there to see." Yeah. But in this case, hey, that's a hell of a matchup right there. That may be the marquee matchup of that game. Other than maybe like which wide receiver is going to pull it out, between Debo and Cup, which one's gonna fucking dominate. So there you go.
And Mohamed Sanu was activated, so just another. I don't even know if he's a weapon, but another wide receiver who's going to be playing in that game.
Dude, watch, he'll play like the Jennings role. He'll like all of a sudden just like start catching all these first downs on third down.
I was just about to say before Sanu was before this year, Sanu was that guy that was in third down packages.
Exactly.
Like just a trusty guy who might not do much. Just like how Randall Cobb was this year for the Packers, like it's just a guy who's predominantly there in third down packages.
Yep.
And you know what's crazy? That's been Jennings. Look at Jennings. If you look really close to Jennings' stats, majority of his receptions have been on third downs.
Exactly.
It's insane. Yep. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, as I was saying, he could, come if he comes back, he could play the Jennings role because that's what he was doing before. So exactly those two. One of them is gonna win that one out, but I mean we're getting real deep there on that game. But those are both. I think Sanu could be a really, really scary. Like if you need to do it like in like a captain showdown thing for DFS or something, and you need like I don't know how much he's worth on that, but it's probably under 1,000. So
he's gonna be priced.
Interesting play.
He's gonna be priced at the minimum.
Exactly. If you need to fucking fill in a guy at the minimum, you could fucking.
Here's the thing. There's too many good options in that game to like look at, like Mohamed Sanu, who might play like 30% of the snaps coming off an injury.
Well, no, I'm saying like if he's at the minimum and there's nobody else there, you're like, all right.
Yeah, he might only need a catch, or say he catches a touchdown that gets you.
If he just happens to, then you fucking pay off huge on that. You kidding me? Dude, people win those things with those guys getting goose eggs. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I guess I'm just so used to Super Draft Pro at this point. Like, I just usually don't even dive down that far.
Yeah, I mean,
it won't be that whatever the highest multiplier is, he'll be that.
If anything, Jennings is the play. Like, if you're going to look past anyone but Debo or Ayuk as a receiver.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you on that. Yeah, for sure.
But
I'm talking about for like DraftKings or FanDuel, if you're doing the captain mode, and you have to, there's like the $100 guys or the $200 guys that you got to just fill in because you want to fill in, the good guys everywhere else. That's kind of like a really sneaky play is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I will say, going back to our injuries, man, that is so good news, bro, because like yesterday, first of all, Monday we got the X-rays. They said they were negative for Trent Williams and for Debo, but that just meant there was no fractural damage or no structural damage. Then we needed to wait on the MRIs, and the fact that they're just completely off the injury report, I don't even need to see MRI results because that means they're good. Because I was worried about partially torn MCL, sprained. Stuff like that, because Debo took the helmet straight to the knee piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was afraid of that too, and seeing Trent limping around, I was like, oh shit, what's going on?
I mean, and you know what too? We do got to factor in, like, if I'm completely healthy, uninjured, and I walk and like awkwardly at all in 0-degree weather, I'm pretty sure I'm limping. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Let alone to be injured
that's a good point.
It's like you're frozen. You're like,
That's true.
And MB asked Devontae Adams. That's who we were talking about earlier because he's an unrestricted free agent and already talks about how he wants to play with Rodgers, but who knows where Rodgers plays. I saw another thing saying Gronk only wants to play for Tom Brady, and so, I mean, obviously if Brady's not with the Bucs, he's not going to be.
Y'all do know what happened.
It's going to be the two of them. They're either going to do it or they're not.
Yeah. I mean, it happened with Gronk before. When the year that he suddenly retired from New England is because they came up to him and, Matt Patricia was in Detroit coaching and Belichick was like, we're gonna do what I do and trade you before you're done. And we're trading you to Detroit. And he was like, I'm retiring. and he was like, "I'm only playing for Brady." You know what I mean? And he stays consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Came back real quick for Brady when Brady comes calling. And Tino said it's hard getting motivated for the NFL since all the teams left are not the Cowboys. and just like Stu, Sean Payton saved my Cowboys. Man, like, you think Sean Payton wants to do charity work around here? There's a lot to fix over there.
Hey, listen, 2023 is not around the corner. You know, that's next year. I mean, Jerry Jones could die before then. You know what I mean? And
Cowboys are they're always looking for like this is how far the Cowboys have gotten now, because it's always they're looking forward to next year. Always next year's our year. Now it's not only just next year's our year, but now 2 years from now, that's definitely our year.
2 years. Oh no, they're winning it 2 years in a row. Remember?
There's been a lot of these next years that haven't panned out since '96.
Listen, man, hey, for all you Cowboy fans, just do like Bogard and just be real as fuck about your team and have zero expectations, because sometimes I gotta rub my eyes when I'm watching a game on mushrooms and I'm like, are we really going to the NFC title game? Like, because I had zero expectations.
How the hell did we play that horribly and end up in the NFC title game? Holy shit.
No, the real question is, Tyrant, how come Rodgers and how come Prescott didn't just shred our secondary? Like, Sean McVay's not going to not do that. Sean McVay, he knows, like, this is their weakness. That's a part of our strengths. We're attacking them.
Oh, they know. It's going to be a fucking shootout. It's going to have to be.
And I don't want it to shoot out because Jimmy G is not a gunslinger.
No.
49ers aren't made to shoot out. Like,
no. I mean, a shootout is maybe not a shootout, but it's going to be like, it's going to be bullets on one side, and I don't know what to call it on the other, because there's just going to be a lot of running. Just
Debo could do a lot of shredding
and shit.
Debo could shred. I mean, so that's really what it is. If the play calling gets Debo, out in space, like, anything is possible.
And you know what, too, man? I've been saying this.
It's like a samurai sword. That's what it is. It's like a gun versus a samurai sword. They'll just fucking slice the gut. There you go.
I like that. We're going with that. Hey, man, Kittle got to do it, though, man. And this got to be a big Kittle thing.
Yeah.
They're susceptible.
He's been underutilized for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they get gashed up by the tight end. I mean, look at Gronk last week. It took him a whole half, but then once he got going, he was gashing him up for big ones. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping. I mean, if not, Kittle's still going to be out there shredding through the blocking game. You know what I mean? Which means that we're doing our thing.
And so here we'll talk about something that's not Cowboys related or one of these guys related, but the co-owner for the Giants, he comes out. There's this whole big evaluation, or not evaluation, but lack of an evaluation on Daniel Jones. This is all quoted by them. We feel like Daniel can play. We've done everything possible to screw this kid up. Points to the coaching, to the coordinator changes, the O-line struggles. Say they need to get everything right around Jones, talking about the coaches and the staff. He said to make an intelligent evaluation.
You know what? What happens when you have two owners? You don't have one, right?
Exactly.
And they are definitely not on the same page, because here goes this guy who's clearly the guy who probably was just who got asked to put money on it. Hey, bro, you want to own half this joint? He's like, yeah, for sure. And then he sees when he gets in there and he sees how bad it is. Gettleman was a bad GM. You know what I mean? They make bad draft picks. They make bad trades. They give out bad. Kenny Golladay was a bad contract. You know what I mean? They're just bad. And they're in a bad. They are NFC least finest. And when I say finest, I mean because they exist to give the other division guys W's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Giants are so bad. And Russell Wilson, you're going to love it there. You're gonna love
shit.
it there, Russ.
Oh, no.
Russ wants to get out of Seattle so bad, he would go to the Giants.
Oh, my God. As a Niners fan, I would feel sorry for him.
This one's the wrong one, so you gotta get a different top.
No, Yeah. No, that would be there's another interesting choice for the Broncos, to be honest with you. Could you imagine that? Russell Wilson going there? That would,
Ooh. See,
yeah.
I'm about that.
Yeah.
Because to me, that just goes along the line of what I just said. He's willing to go anywhere outside of Seattle. That he would go to the Giants. He would love to go to the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, he's got Jerry Judy there. I mean, with Williams coming up, and like that, they've got some pieces there. They do.
Here's another thing too, man, is that like the likelihood of the Broncos making a splash here with a big name quarterback is very low to me. They're the team that might end up with like a Danny Dimes in a trade after the Giants trade for Russell.
You're probably right, honestly. Sad as it is, I think you might be right on that one.
And Chase said Giants might hire Dan Quinn, is what it looks like. I know they interviewed him for sure, and they love getting the fallouts, from the Cowboys, and so that'd be right on brand.
Absolutely, it would be. Dan Quinn needs not to be a head coach. He's fine as a coordinator. That's it. He just needs to stick with that job because, it didn't work out with Atlanta. It's not going to work out anywhere else. I watched it happen. He squandered that team. It was Kyle Shanahan. That's it. As soon as Shanahan left, that team went to shit.
Yeah, for sure. And Dan Quinn's just not the head coaching type. Let him be a D coordinator. And Anthony asked earlier, he said, what about Russ? We think he moves. And I'm super curious about that whole situation because it seems like with them making a couple moves, maybe some things will be okay. I mean, they don't have to trade Russ. So, I mean, Russ kind of holds all the cards, like if he's going to hold out or whatever, but we've already seen like that's really not a good recipe. Like he either needs to get moved or I don't know. Need to get him some O linemen. Like that's all the guys ever wanted is O linemen. So he's not the sack leader every single year.
And you know what's funny? When they actually had a decent line, they go ahead and trade Max Ingram, like one of their best linemen, their star center, and they trade him for Jimmy Graham.
I know.
That's so
and then the Saints, you know what the Saints do? The Saints, who had a historical bad line for years, they go on to have one of the best run blocking and pass protecting line for the next like 4 or 5 years.
My buddy is a Seahawks fan, dude. I was laughing my ass off at him for that one.
I was so dumb. And Jimmy
was like, I know. That's so stupid. I'm like,
I know. I'm not sure if he tore his ACL the first year or the second year, but I do know that one of the years that he did play the whole season, he had 10 touchdowns, which was pretty incredible.
Which was good back then. Well, I mean, it's still good now for a tight end.
For fantasy, hell yeah. I mean, that's like Robert Tonyan before he was, because that's all it was that year. It was just touchdowns. It wasn't like he was getting all these yards. You know what I mean?
It took him 3 yards. It took him 3 years to get that.
3 years. Okay. So that's 2018 year?
2017. It's actually really weird. So 2015, 605 yards. That must have been the year he got hurt because he only played 11 games, had 48 receptions. And then the year after that, 923 yards, only 6 touchdowns, though. He played the entire year. And then the year after that, he plays. And look, he played every game, but he only started 13. Really weird. I can't remember why. I think he was in the doghouse or something. 520 yards. That's it on his 57 receptions, but had 10 touchdowns.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but like having a really good offensive lineman like that does so much more for the team. Now, of course, not for fantasy. It doesn't mean anything. Although
look at Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm saying these are mediocre numbers. I mean, the 900 yards is nice, but didn't put up double-digit touchdowns, and then he puts up double-digit touchdowns where he's probably like one of 2 tight ends that were in that system.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like for that, it's not worth it. It's not worth giving up. A great offensive lineman.
Because also. Like when the lineman that can pass pro and run block, I mean, it helps in both facets of the game. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And what's crazy, this is why I always say Pete Carroll's old and senile, is because he can't address the glaring needs, even when your QB is yelling it at him. You know what I mean? Like, hey, give me some protection. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get you DK Metcalf. I'm gonna take my shirt off. He's gonna take his shirt off, and that's Pete Carroll. And he's like, Russ, like what? And he's like, don't worry, Russ, we'll get you extended. And he's like, I ain't asking about an extension. I said, give me protection. See, maybe he's deaf too now.
Right.
And Stu said, Bogard, quit putting Rodgers and or Wilson in the NFC least in the universe. Thought we were friends. I mean, we already said it's not going to be Rodgers, but I don't know. I'm really curious where they would actually trade Wilson. I mean, could he be the guy who ends up in Denver or Pittsburgh?
I mean, outer conference usually makes more sense, right? But I think the trades for QBs are so rare that like it's just more fun to talk about. But I think, like, if we're going to put percentages on it, I think there's a higher percentage chance people are calling for Rodgers than they are for Russ because Russ's contract is crazier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's true.
And then, like, there's also Desean Watson. Like, if in the next 10 minutes we get news that there is going to be no charges filed against him, he's the first guy people are calling for, regardless of how big his contract is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
and I wonder how soon. You guys know any idea on how soon, like, he's got things coming up with this?
They said after the Super Bowl. That's what they said. They said February is when they were going to close the NFL's investigation because everything was on hold during the season. That's what they said in the beginning. And that's kind of put everything to rest when they put that out there. You know what I mean? They're just like, you know, and then they did the unprecedented year-long healthy scratch. You know what I mean? And the guy still gets paid. It's crazy. Still gets paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we got a month until we hear about this info, and can't wait to hear about it. So after the Super Bowl, we're going to be switching to a Wednesday, Friday format. So we're going to be coming at you twice a week, and then we're going to get some other things going throughout the week. So we're still going to have live streams going on all the time.
We got the circle starting to catch fire. We got playmakers. Playmakers might. I mean, I still like to do it once a week. You know what I mean? And maybe there might be a week or two we miss here and there, but I mean, as far as I know, I'm gonna keep me and Huss will keep that rocking. You know what I mean? As long as Huss is down, we're gonna rock that thing. I mean, because the offseason, it is gonna, especially like until free agency opens up. Like the month right after the Super Bowl, it might get a little quiet. Obviously, we're gonna do like recap stuff and like, you know what I mean? Then actually it's not gonna calm down. It's gonna be all the rumors, the trades, and everything. It's only gonna ramp up. We're just actually gonna ramp down on the FNT.
Yep, because dynasty stuff is going to be going down. We're going to be doing, at least for the foreseeable future, mock drafts every Friday. Maybe we'll mix in another day on that as well after the Super Bowl once we switch to the 2-day FNT format. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming out. What do you got? What kind of stuff you got coming up here, Tyrant?
Well, it's, you know, we're getting to the off season, you know, coming up here pretty soon, but I still got some things coming out. I'm going to be working on my Fantasy 101 series. And then if you guys haven't seen it, go check out my end of year special, the Fantasy, the Tyrant Awards. You know, those are a lot of fun. And then I've got my Super Bowl watch along that I'm doing, you know, where you can actually win a signed Keenan Allen jersey.
Yeah.
So
Keenan Allen weigh-ins.
That's right. Anybody who's a Patreon subscriber, anybody who donates via Venmo or PayPal, I've got the link there in my description on my page, at least. You know, you'll be entered $1 for every entry. You know, you get for every $1 that you donate, you get an entry into the giveaway. I'll be doing that at halftime of the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna interrupt the Dr. Dre stuff. I'll do it during a commercial because I'm fucking excited for the goddamn halftime show for the first time probably ever. It's gonna.
I know, and now they're gonna be like 40 and 50 when we're seeing them. Like, why couldn't we get this a long time ago?
Right?
You know, like, I wish we could.
If we got that shit like in the 90s, holy crap!
Yeah,
I made the phone call. You know what I mean?
Tino, I like it, bro. He said, let's do a top 50 IDP episode. Okay, I like that idea. So what I'm going to be doing, because I already am putting some of these just some of the series, some series is, like top 12 for 2021, going to be breaking down the stats. It'll just be an upload. I'll just be hitting a lot of key points. And I'm doing that
You're already breaking down. I think you already put together the top 24 linebackers, right?
Oh, yeah, I already got that. I read them out, but I'm going to actually put out an episode just if people want to dive back into where it's just real quick, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, something like that. I'm doing that for all the positions, defensive linemen, defensive backs, and linebackers. But that would be dope to do a long form live stream where we just talk about the top 50 overall IDP players points wise. From all positions. I'm definitely down to do that because there's going to be a lot of eye-opening things I'm sure will happen because of that. So I'm going to figure out a day that we're going to do that, and we'll get Bogey on here for that, maybe JC Money, and we'll ask a couple other IDP heads, and we'll just crack out the top 50. Yeah.
Yes, spoiler alert on my late round IDP guys, right? Leonard Floyd.
So I'm getting JC Money already on the graphics, and he's going to be one of the 3 people featured on the LB2 graphics.
Yeah,
because Bogey was shouting him out this entire time.
That's funny.
And then the circle coming at you tomorrow. So we may not have FNT tomorrow. So I'm not 100%. I got something that may or may not happen. That's pretty important. So it should be like morning or early afternoon. I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But the circle is definitely going to be here. 7:20 Eastern start time, 4:20 Pacific. It was a lot of fun last time. So I'm gonna get the stream created tonight so we can have today. I'll create it real soon here so we could get like 24 hours of like sharing it, and everyone can tell other people about it as well. Because this is going to be a dope show. I'm really excited to keep this.
Oh yeah. And as it goes on, it's just going to get better and better. And we got everybody on board. I just wanted to say with last week's show, I was fucking amazed. Maybe not surprised, but just I thought it was incredible how everyone was so into it. And dude. Fucking Peacock killed that shit. Holy crap.
Yeah.
that fucking rock impression. That was so good.
The cock was definitely in the building.
The cock. Yeah.
Yes. That was
a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun going forward. I think a lot of people are going to be into it, especially when we get into next season and more people are getting in. People are going to love this shit. So I'm excited. We're gonna get some good content on that tomorrow for sure.
That'll be a cool show to do. I mean, that'll be a fun show to do in season too.
Dude, it's gonna be incredible.
Because then the show will write itself, basically. You know what I mean? Like the debates will, it'll be. I mean, not to say like in the off season we can't come up with dope shit. You know what I mean? But I mean, we're basically doing in season right now. It's just only a few games going on.
Yeah, I mean, that might be one of those ones where we end up doing it twice a week just because it's so fun. When it comes to in season, everyone's going to be all over it.
Because we're going to, and it'll probably at that point be a lot more fantasy centric. So,
true. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, everybody, we need your help. We need your help sharing the shit out of these episodes. Okay. It's going to be all over multiple YouTube channels. So make sure you follow all of us on social media.
Hey. Hashtag Tyrant Gang, whoever's out there, you know who you are. Share that shit. Get this. Let everyone know about this stuff. The circle, fantasy news, and all that, because the fantasy nation is taking over.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna wrap a bow on this thing. And so Tyrant, just one more time, tell them where to find you and everything you got going on, or what people need to look out for.
That's right. Check me out on YouTube, the Fantasy Tyrant. I'm on Twitter, fantasy_tyrant. I'm on pretty much any Facebook page that has to do with fantasy football. You'll find me on there. So, check me out. Got lots of content. I'm going to be doing at least a video every week. So, and then of course stuff with you guys, Fantasy Nation, and all that. So stay tuned.
Yeah, you already know the earth is my turf. Universe, give me money. You can subscribe on the GMM Network. Check me out at the GMM Network on the gram. Also, man, check us out tonight. Real Fantasy Playmakers. I'm not gonna be there. Luigi definitely hosting this thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Spencer the Guru and Peacock, aka the Cock. They're gonna be in the building. We might have a couple special guests. Tyrant, if you're free, you're more than welcome to rock with us too, man. It's just gonna be, we're just breaking down unders, overs, spread picks, everything about championship weekend. And did I mention I was gonna be on mushrooms?
What time is that going to be?
That'll be at 6:30 our time. 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. West Coast time, 9:30 p.m. for all you East Coasters. You know what I'm saying? And definitely tune in, man. The Playmaker show is always one of them ones.
I might show up. We'll see. We'll see what I got going
I'll
on.
shoot you the link, man. You know what I mean? Just
For
pull
sure.
up. You know, you're never late. You're a wizard. You know what I mean? You're always on time.
That's right.
And here we go. And
That's what I
JC,
mean to.
and let's not forget about JC Money Show. Starts in a little less than 30 minutes here, and going over all your NBA lineups for Super Draft Pro, helping you guys win some money and all that. Don't miss out. Make sure you get in on their lineups because they're always helping us win money. So go get some of that money.
Yeah, shout out to JC Money, aka Christ Money, and shout out to Coach Craig, man. They're doing their thing.
Oh yeah, every day too. That's a lot of commitment. Yeah, and peace out, Ronald. And he said East Coast represent. Hell yeah, Ronald repping all the way from Philly.
Yeah, Philly stand up.
All right, we're out. And for everyone who's still listening, don't forget, go download all the podcasts. Just go to fantasyfootballhustler.com. Got the links in there for Apple and the links in there for Spotify. And you can find me everywhere that you get your podcasts, though. So go help a brother out. Got to get the podcast downloads up. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
As I make my way, the fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to waste. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Get your life together.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side Ho, where they know my name.